Hi there, thank you so much for joining me in this lesson. It's been an amazing journey for me myself, and I must say that one of the things I've learned so far about working with and using Microsoft Excel is the fact that there are so many possibilities that are bound, right? Like the possibilities are almost endless. All of this things mean something, they do something, they can undo something. So I've personally liked the learning journey. It's been a bit steep, but I pride myself in the fact that I pride myself as a fast learner and as someone who really wants to know what's going on in other spaces. So when the challenge came to take on data analysis, for the first few days, I was wondering where that came from, but now I've learned, still learning, to open up to new opportunities to grow, to learn, to overall be better. So right now, I think I'll be going through a few things that I've learned already in this session. Right, so one of the things I've learned is the fact that literally everything is an entity. I myself speaking, I'm an entity. I have my favorite color, I have my favorite food, I have my location, I have my height, I have my likes, my dislikes, my pet peeves, my skin color, my hair length, my hair type, different attributes that kind of define me, right, as an entity. So speaking to this data we are looking at right now, we will see that this is sample employee data really that I just really generated from the internet.
We'll probably cover that in another video.
But in all of this, in this data, right, we see that they are individual entities. Let's say Mason Lee now, the first person here is an entity. This is an entity with an employee number. This is an entity that has a department in a company, has a salary. He has a performance rating, a location, a gender. Same with Benjamin Green, Ella Walker, Emily Clark, Oliver Garcia, etc. So that's very fundamental. The fact that every data set we're working with always has an entity that then has other attributes that define them. So one of the few things we are just going to go over in this session really is first of all understanding that they're really just saying how to move things around, on an Excel sheet. Because if you can see, the sheet is quite dirty. We have the employee ID rather in column A, name in column B, department in column C, but you can't even see it, very fully until you then look here in the formula bar. That's when you see what's written here. You have the salary, you have the days of hire, the performance rating. So you can even preview just the performance, but until you check here, you can't really see what's here. You have your location and you have your gender. So one of the first things we are going to look at now in this session that I also recently just learned is how to open up your column headers to really see what's there without necessarily having to check your formula bar. So let's quickly get into that. Every other thing is called strata, and you want to see everything at a glance without having to manually click on what they are. So there are different ways you can do it, right? You can hover on each column. By the time you hover on the border lines, right, between each column, you see this cross that you can then extend right to your right to contain all of that. I'm going to do the same for department. I'm going to do the same for date of hire, right? Then I'm also going to do the same for performance rating. But one of the things that we'll notice here is we literally have to keep extending. Let's say for this performance rating, it was here before. I can just extend here, think that's all that is there, or I can keep extending, thinking there's so much to it when that's really all of it. I can move this around. But another way that we can easily, contain all of the things in the column header and to see them at once, right? There's a shortcut. I'm going to press that right now. But first of all, for us to really see how effective that shortcut is, I'm going to undo everything I just did, right? Where I used my mouse, the arrow from the mouse to extend it. Now that all that's undone, I'm now going to use the command to work with it. Alt HOI is a command. I can as well just click on everything, right? I use that for the first one there. Then I can click on everything and tell it Alt HOI. So that's all I need to do, Alt HOI. So that's the first thing that we learned there. Another thing that we can also learn is, if I say that each of these people in this B column, right, are entities, I might want to put that as a first column in my sheet. Let's say I want to move columns around, right, and I don't want it to be in column B. I don't want the name, entities to be in column B. I want it in column A. So I can do that in two ways. I can actually, three ways actually. I can actually either right click on chords, bring it where I want it to be as a first column in the table, insert cut cells, and that's it, right? I can do that, but I can also do this. If you see the lines that border the column, you see that this arrow, right, this one I'm overing, this white arrow, by the time I bring it on the lines by the column, it shrinks in size, and it also shrinks, it changes color. Once I do that, I can select my shift key. Once I select my shift key, I can then move that. So again, I'm going to do that again. It's here, the arrow has changed shape and it has changed dimensions and color. I'll click on shift, move. If say I want to copy it, I want to have two copies of name, for instance, and I want one of it to be the first and also to be the third, right? Say I want the name column to be the first and the third. This is simply what I do. I do Control Shift instead, then I move. So by doing Control Shift, I then have two copies of this column. I have it in column A and I have it in column C. So that is for this session. We'll keep learning in other sessions, other things, really just taking it all, continuing from where we stopped here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned one or two things, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a data analyst who is an expert. I'm someone who just got a role change and who is looking to learn, right, publicly what she has learned so far since being a data analyst. It's been about 7 weeks of being having that role change at work. So I'm really still learning. I do not claim to understand fully what Excel does, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn and to grow. So thank you very much. Bye bye.